I just love that intro music, don't you? I used to play it for a whole minute on here, and then I was thinking, that's a really long time. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Spiritual Chit Chat, where we talk about everything. We talk about everything. And today we're talking about timeline jumping. We're going to talk about what that is, what it looks like, what it feels like, because a lot of people are doing it. Hey, Barbary. I can't talk. Barbie, Adele, Spirit Song is here. Welcome, welcome, everybody. For those of you that are watching this later, this is a show that is done live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're watching the recording, you are so welcome to be here. I put the recordings on and doing live. I do little readings at the end most of the time. Sometimes we get busy and don't. But I do cut those readings off and edit them off for the recorded for later. So when you hear me welcoming all of our people, we have the most wonderful people that are a part of this community. And I just want to welcome everybody. And please, if you're feeling like it, you're welcome here, whether you chat or not, but you're so welcome in the chat and welcome to be here and to talk. My goal in everything that I do is to create a community that is loving, unconditionally loving, that is very high frequency, very spiritual and supportive. It's kind of fun because I noticed that people, hey Linda, that people, oh, thank you. Barbie's saying, I love the pink lipstick. Mwah. Spring is here, summer's coming, got my summer colors on. um Creating this community where everybody kind of gets to know each other. And I know some people is so cute, see each other on here every week and they start talking to each other in the chat and saying hi and loving and supporting each other. And that's what this channel is about. It really is. It's spiritual chit chat. It's a community for high frequency people, for people that are full of love and light and peace and harmony. And as we support each other and love each other here, as we gather here every week, we begin to spread that love and light everywhere. And so that's my thing. Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to create communities. When I got to be a teenager and a young adult, it was doing parties, right? I was always throwing the party, the block parties, the birthday parties, the barbecue parties, always helping friends do it. And I love it. I just love doing that. So it's all about community. And that's what we're getting back to. It's what we're getting back to. We've all become very separated. We had that experience. And now it's coming back into community. And we have communities right here on the internets, as grandma and grandpa say, the internets. And so I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here. Was kind of wondering if anybody else is feeling the somewhat kind of like energy that's going on right now. I've been feeling almost like, a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, I said to someone that it feels like attacky energy, right? So where it's like there's just like kind of energy. And I had a couple of things come up that was just that. And so I think that with this intense energy that we're having, a lot of people, the nerves are getting a little jangled. The nervous system is a little overwhelmed, and it will kind of express itself as being a little bit snappy or a little bit attacky. And so we just all, take a nice deep breath and love those that are having that experience. And, it's okay. We all get to express ourselves sometimes, right? As long as we're not really hurting other people. And that's part of being unconditionally loving. We're not perfect. Well, I am. You're not. No, just kidding. No, but we are. And I've been really, really feeling it. And Spirit Song is saying time is all over the place, because this is part of this energy, is that we are all jumping timelines. And that's why I wanted to talk about this. And it's kind of cool because I set this topic up like almost a month ago, where I said all this stuff, I lined it all up. And when I was doing it, I was like, oh, do I want to talk about that? But I kept feeling, no, leave it there. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we're time hopping. We are jumping timelines. We are going from, and also, yeah, it is. It's totally nuts. And here's the thing. Timelines can be something as simple as where our consciousness is or where our focus is, right? We're jumping timelines. Oh my gosh, I just had a big download. Oh my God, I hate that word, but I just did. People with ADHD are running on multiple timelines at all the time. That's part of what they're experiencing is actually that hopping from timeline to timeline to timeline. That's why they have such a hard time focusing. And so a lot of us are feeling very ADHD, right? How many of you guys are feeling, hey Moon, welcome. How many of you guys are feeling a little ADHD, a little ADD, a little bit like you can't focus, where you're doing something, and, oh, I got to do this, and oh, I got to go do this. Oh, I forgot to do that. Just a little bit of that. That is part of the what we're going to call symptoms of timeline jumping. Okay. And so it's getting more and more and more because more timelines are becoming available because people are waking up. It's almost like we live in a matrix that has hidden the timelines, which are possibilities, right? There are millions of timelines running side by side all the time. And so in this matrix that we live in, we are kind of given one timeline and like this is the timeline you're on. And as people are waking up, and it's been happening throughout history, people that are a little bit more aware, but there's so many people that are really, really waking up, is we're as it's like the veil is falling back as the cloud is clearing, as the fog is clearing, by so many people waking up. More and more timelines are becoming apparent. And so that's even more important why we need to really be learning to do that meditation, to be closing or to be well, not closing our energy fields, but managing our energy fields to where we're clearing our chakras. We're, doing meditation. We're taking that time to be still, to be quiet, to be in the inner space. Because if we're constantly being jerked around by the outer, we're going to be in that crazy, like unconscious timeline jumping, right? And that's what's happening. It's just a lot of unconscious timeline jumping. And that's why it's so frenetic right now. And we've got all those planets that are lined up. We're moving into Aries. So that's always a more intense time. And so we want to really be aware of when it's happening. Like, and yeah, Spirit Song, ADHD and autistic. And so, yeah. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. And we have like language for that now. Before ADHD and even autistic was like something wrong, right? That's not something wrong. There's something very, very, very right. We just didn't know what to do with it. Now we're learning. Now we're understanding that autistic children are super high frequency and super high consciousness. They don't fit in this world, but they are here to help awaken the world and to open up these possibilities. And it's really, really interesting because, and I've shared this with a lot of you, but my godson was autistic. And I remember I was watching him one day and we'd been reading a book, the cat says meow, the cow says moo. And we read it and, we played, and then he got kind of sidetracked. Excuse me, I think he was playing with his trains or something. And so in my mind, I was just reading the book quietly in my mind. And I went, the cow says, and he goes, moo. I was like, oh, cool. The cat says, he goes, meow. And I just went, oh my gosh, are you telepathic? And he kind of looked at me and like he realized so I went through the book. The duck says, and he'd get a smile on his face. He'd go, quack. And we did that like 5 or 6 times. I was like, oh my gosh, there is a telepathic quality to this little thing. And so can you imagine if they're telepathic, they're getting all the time, right? And so I used to get so excited when I run across autistic kids, like in the grocery store or in the restaurant or stuff like that. Like I'd always just send them a little, I love you. Hey, I love you. And a lot of times you'd see him kind of looking around and I would just like open my heart up and kind of let my heart chakra be around my body, kind of be a beacon, and I would just kind of look at them every once in a while. And eventually they would look over and they'd smile, or you'd see them be like, oh, oh, you know, oh, something connected there. It was really, really sweet. And I never bombarded them with energy, I never really pushed them, but I just made that sweet little hey, and I don't think I'm telepathic. That's not what I'm saying, because like with regular people, I don't do that. But I was able to kind of pick up that frequency, kind of tune into that radio station a little bit of and especially with the children. I've known some autistic adults and it hasn't been quite as easy. But I'm also very, very careful too. I always be very, very conscious of moving in other people's spaces without invitation. But yeah. Barbie's saying it's hard to focus. Time is skipping by very quickly. And you'll notice too, another thing with this timeline jumping is time is just not the same. I'm experiencing right now time going by very, very, very fast. I'll be doing something and will not have gotten hardly anything done, and 3 hours will have gone by. Or I can be working on something and barely any time goes by. But the fast time is happening more often, right? It's happening more often. It's just like bam, just the time goes by so incredibly fast. The shorter, getting a lot done in a shorter period of time, not so much. But I think that's part of the acceleration that we're experiencing right now. We're very much in an accelerated time, and those timelines are becoming apparent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you guys to, first of all, really, really take that time and get into your center, get into your quiet space within your heart, within your soul, and give yourself quiet time away from all those timelines too, because your soul is the one divine timeline. Okay, so I want you to think of it that way. Is your soul, your heart, is that one divine timeline that is the whole, that is the one. And so when you get yourself, hopping and skipping and jumping, right, on a bunch of different timelines, you can take quiet time and you can get off those timelines and get into the one, really. Um, I'm reading this. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this up, Rach. Rach is saying, will you be selling audio for meditation? Yours is so gifted. Thank you, honey. Everything does feel so sluggish. Universe can help us with this. Yes. I want to tell you guys, on my website at micheleambergui.com, I have meditations for sale up on there. And I have a Patreon site with a bunch of meditations, but I'm going to move them over to my Spotify podcast site. Patreon just, I don't know, that energy is just, it's always felt kind of just not driving with me. It works great for some people. It's not for me, but I'm over on Spotify, so I'm going to be moving all those meditations over there. But yeah, on my website, micheleambergui.com, go to the Academy, the Conscious Living Academy, and you'll see Shop for Meditations. There's a bunch of them on there, like super high vibe ones. So thank you for asking that. Thank you for asking that. Because that is one of my things. That's kind of my thing, is I love doing meditations, and it's how I became a hypnotherapist. Is I had several people say, "My God, your meditations are so good. You should be a hypnotherapist." And I thought, so I looked into it, and it was yet another modality to help people. So I went ahead and did it. So thank you so much. I appreciate that support. So yeah, timelines. We're jumping. You can do it consciously or you can do it unconsciously. Also, OC Rachel, I have a meditation group every Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and it's $25 a night. I'm doing shameless marketing and advertising right now. But if you join my membership for $33 a month, you get that meditation as part of the membership. You also get little readings on Tuesdays, every Tuesday. Do a little personal reading for everybody, a group reading. We also have a monthly meeting, get discounts on private sessions. So might want to, that's there on my website as well under the Academy. So you can check that out. So another way that timelines can, like where you're jumping timelines, is there, you can jump on timelines that are affected, very affected by the past. And this is another thing. Oh, cool. I would love that. Yeah, the membership is so amazing, you guys. It's, we've got the most amazing people because it's people that come every week that do the meditations. If you can't make it to the meditations, I post them on our private Facebook group, so that you can do them later. And the meditations on Wednesday also, there's some spiritual teaching that's going on there too. So we do some really cool stuff. So, all of you guys, if you're looking for a place to pop in, real high vibe, high frequency, and a super deep meditation. I do a guided meditation every single time, and it is guided by, we're talking like prime creator kind of stuff. It's intense. Um, Another way that we can experience timelines that a lot of people haven't thought about, but that popped in a couple of weeks ago when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today, and it's timelines that are still being affected by the past. So it's timelines that are still kind of crisscrossing, and they do that because we haven't let go. It's not so much, a lot of us, we've done the work, we've done the forgiving, we've done it, and it keeps coming back, and it keeps coming back, and it keeps coming back. And a lot of times we just need to let go of those timelines. So often we are very, very attached to our past experiences. We just get attached. I was traumatized. I was abused. I was hurt. I was abandoned. And we get very, very identified with our past. A lot of times our identity is from the past. And what is really being asked of us right now, for us to grow, to move forward, to move into this newer timeline, to allow this matrix that is crumbling around us to really crumble, we have to let go of it. And it's scary. It really is. It's scary to let go of your identity. Even if your identity is something that hurts or something that keeps coming back around, we have to let go. We have to be willing to be who and what and how we are right here, right now, to open up the possibilities of new timelines to move us into a really awesome future. And that's a lot of what humanity is struggling with right now. And you have to, you can think of it this way too. There have been huge group consciousnesses of people thinking the Jewish people, and the whole Hitler thing, so many are identified with that horrific, and of course, but we need to let go. The Native Americans, all of the indigenous peoples everywhere that have been so decimated and treated so cruelly. The slaves, the Asian, the Chinese slaves, the Irish slaves, the African slaves, even white slaves, been those too. And, a lot of times they're so attached to that time period. Their identity is attached to that you're not moving forward. And so you get stuck in that circle of, oh, I did the work. Oh, it comes back around. Oh, I did the work. Oh, it comes back around. Oh, I did the work. It comes back around. And we need to let go, and right now it feels like, we're on the edge, on the shore of a rushing river. But for us to get down the river into a new place, we have to let go of the shore. And for us to cross that river, we have to let go of the shore. And that's one of the scariest parts of all of this work that we're doing now, of all of this that we're going through, is letting go of what we know, right? There's an old adage. It was, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. But I'm here to tell you that's not true. Because we want to let go. We want to let go so that we can move into a bright new future. And it is scary and it is hard, but we've got all this timeline swapping. We got past timelines crossing future timelines, and current timelines tangled up with past and future timelines. And a lot of us are even moving forwards and backwards in ways that are really interesting too. And so that's why we always want to bring it back into this current moment. And using the awareness of the timelines, you can begin to understand why it is so important to be on that divine timeline and to be in that one space. That is, I'm going to call it the true timeline, right? It's not a timeline that holds all the distortions and all the other stuff. It's that true timeline. That's why we feel so grounded and so centered when we can find that space. And that takes practice too, right? Where we have to kind of give a little commitment to our well-being and our sanity, right? Little bit of sanity goes a long, long way to be able to make it through this time. March was really crazy, you guys. I want to tell all of you how proud I am of you. You keep coming, you keep showing up, you keep, being a part of, you keep loving, you keep, taking care of yourself. And I'm really, really proud of you. And those of you that are listening, that are doing the work, that are moving through, good job, because it's hairy. It is gnarly. And even people who, are teaching this stuff, myself included, but my teachers, everybody's just feeling like the earth kind of rumbling beneath our feet, the timeline zooming by, and it's intense. And so in those moments of intensity, we really have to be in our center. But those timelines, we're jumping them. We're jumping them all the time. We can jump on a timeline that is a backwards moving timeline that's keeping us, connected to past, usually traumas, usually things that hurt us that we're stuck on. We got to let go of those timelines. We have to actually let those timelines begin to dissolve. And they'll dissolve when they no longer have our attention and our energy. So we are in charge of a lot of the timelines too, because timelines are also very much associated with what we focus on, where our attention is, what we put our energy into. Like, are you putting your energy into love and light and joyous awesomeness, or are you putting your energy into other things that maybe aren't carrying you? And as we move further and further and further along, it's becoming more and more apparent and more intense that, and just like spiritual growth is, so we'll get squeezed until we're finally like, okay, I give up, I let go, I can't do this anymore. um and it doesn't have to hurt, because one of the things that's really cool is there's so many wonderful people that have things like YouTube channels, have little things like the membership, have podcasts that you can spend time listening and plugging in and getting fed beautiful, loving music, beautiful, loving information, just beautiful, loving energy. Really, really look for the things that super resonate with you. If anything ever feels like weird or, oh, I don't like this, that's not your thing, because not all of it is. And find your place, find your tribe. And we've got a wonderful tribe, a wonderful community here. Also, for those of you, because I know we've got some new people that are listening in too, is I've got a Facebook group. It's a public group that's called Soulful Living Tribe, where I also do work there. So I've got a Facebook group for my membership, which is called A Million I Love Yous. And we gather together with the focus of learning to love ourselves and be love in this world. And with that overflow of love, our overflow of love goes out into the world. And the goal is for each of us to bring a million I love yous out into the world, understanding that those million I love yous will each touch a heart and a soul that will then bring a million I love yous. And pretty soon we're living in the new earth, right? So that's what it all is. And yeah, we can't let it define us. We can't let our past define who we are today. And a lot of people really struggle with this. And it's interesting because even if you've done a lot of work with it and you've done, past life regressions and you've let go of all this stuff, little things will still pop up. All those little nooks and crannies of consciousness, all this stuff gets put in all the little nooks and crannies. And it's okay. It kind of shows how amazing our mind is, that it can take all these bits and pieces. And so as these bits and pieces kind of release, it's kind of like it's all starting getting crumbly, starting to fall out, it's starting to show itself. Love it. Be very, very careful with not judging yourself when these timelines within your own matrix start crumbling and shifting. Love yourself. It's always about loving yourself. I had a memory come back. It's been a while ago. It's been a couple months ago of something that I did that was really not nice to somebody. And it was an old boyfriend. He was a jerk and he kind of deserved it, but it wasn't nice. And I always held on to like what I just said. Well, he was a jerk and he deserved it. But it was interesting because shame came up the time that came up and I went, oh my gosh. And I was holding this little nugget of shame, which is a very, very low vibration. It's a very, very low frequency. And so having that in my, my energy matrix, it's a very low frequency. And so those are the things. And so what I did is I took shame and I pictured shame as this sweet little, like a little child. And I just took shame and I just said, oh, honey, you have your shame, but it's, you did something, you did the best you could. You had your reasons, that's okay, but we don't need to carry this anymore. It's over. And just treat it like a little child that's been hurt and wounded, which is basically what it is. And love that shame back into loving itself again. And then that energy dissolves. Then all of that dissolves. Hey, Mystic Mimi, welcome, welcome. And so it's fun. There's a lot of things we can do, but you guys are timeline jumping. You are jumping those timelines and it's like, what the heck is going on? Well, this is a bird's eye view of what is happening. We really are in it. The view is clearing. We're all waking up consciously. We're being more conscious of things that are going on around us. And all this stuff are all these different timelines because we're creating timelines with our consciousness. So let's create those timelines consciously and make sure that you take care of the most important timeline, which is your personal divine timeline, right? It is that timeline that is eternal and it is pure and it is love and it is truth, love, and light. And it is you. It is your frequency. It is your tone. It is your color. It is yours. And it is yours in alignment with the divine flow of all things, the one, the oneness, the royal house of one, the Unisai, the Ioni, the sacred and holy beings who are here. The Ioni are the indigo tribes that are here, which I think all of you that are in here right now are part of that indigo lineage. That's why we gather together, I am definitely an indigo starseed, and so I tend to bring indigo starseeds, into all the stuff that I do. So let's do a few readings. Let's take a look at what's going on. I am Kyle Gray. I just love his talk about an indigo starseed. He is truly just such a high frequency, this kid. And so we're going to use his cards today because it's called the Gateway of Light Activation. So these timelines also that we're talking about is there's many, many timelines that are being created by very highly consciousness people, highly conscious people that are these gateways of light. Okay. These are these gateways. And when you're aligned with your true alignment, you have more access to the super high frequency ones too. So be aware that all this stuff that is going on, they are different timelines and some are coming kind of almost like with the term that I'm getting is they're kind of crashing into each other. Right. And so you get to choose your timelines and choose them from your inner wisdom and not by the ADD thing, right? Not by the that's right, that's pulling me out. Don't let the outer drag you into timelines that aren't in your highest good. Bring yourself into your inner quiet space and choose your timelines there. And when you stay on the divine timeline, you really will be guided to your very best things. And then you might, step over into a timeline and experience something, but it's going to be a timeline that is a beneficial timeline. Okay. And this stuff will straighten out. This stuff will settle down. But like we've been talking this year is really for us to step off of what is called the Fibonacci timeline, which is the spiral life and death and reincarnation, right? And move into the Christic spiral, which is going to take us into that fifth dimension and higher. Honestly, my understanding is like fifth dimension, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. There's access to all of that, but we got to get off of this spiral, this timeline of this death and rebirth, this reincarnation spiral. And so we have that opportunity. And that's why the timeline thing is, oh, it's becoming very, very apparent. Everybody's talking about it, right? Everybody's talking about timelines. Everybody's beginning to understand that we have walked a lot of timelines. We have timelines that are coming from the past that are crisscrossing over. We got timelines coming from the future too. You can tap into timelines of your future self and gain some wisdom and guidance too. And I'm thinking maybe I'll do a little pop-up class on doing some work on that, or maybe we'll do it in one of our Wednesday meditations too. We can do that. Note to self, do some timeline work. So I know you guys want some readings. Let's pull a few cards. And Hillary, there you are, girl. What do I need to hear and know? For my best and highest good. Well, thank you for being here, Hillary. I'm glad you made it. And so, Holy Grail. I hope you were listening to all of this, Hills, because this is exactly what it's saying. This is exactly what it's saying. Because you're asking, what do I need to hear and know right now for my best and highest good? What you need to hear is your own divine inner guidance. Holy Grail, inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek. Okay. The Holy Grail is you. People have been the whole myth, the King Arthur and the Holy Grail and all that mythology. That Holy Grail is you. It was represented, it was brought into physical form, represented by Jesus, by Mother Mary, by Mary Magdalene, by the apostles, the disciples, as the Holy Grail. But that Holy Grail is you, your heart, your soul, and that divine connection. And you become this sacred space when you unite with that holiness. So, Hillary, what do you need to hear and know right now for your best and highest good? That you have all the answers within, that you are what you seek, meaning what you're focusing on is what you are creating, and what you are creating is your own timeline. Where are you creating from? Are you creating from fear? Are you creating from worry? Are you creating from control? Or are you creating from inner peace and harmony and allowing the divine, allowing God, if you will, to move through you, to guide you? Because this is the next step. And as someone who does intuitive guidance, I make a lot of my income doing that. It's more important that I teach you guys to start finding your own guidance, because this is where these new timelines are coming in, where we're going to begin walking in very powerful ways, really in our spiritual authority, when we recognize that we are the Holy Grail. So, Hillary, what you need to know is you are the Holy Grail. You have all the answers within. You have all the answers within. And you know what, Hillary, you're really good at knowing things. As an empath, you know. You already know. And so this is really good. This is really good for you. And it's reminding you, it's not saying anything you don't already know, right? But this is your message. Linda Thompson, same question as Hillary. Linda Thompson, same answer as Hillary. Spirit Song, same answer as Hillary. I'll pull you guys cards though. But this is for everybody. What you need to know most of all right now, when we're talking about timelines and how crazy it's getting with all these timelines crashing into each other, is that you have your own sacred timeline that is tied into the divine. Tap into that. Anchor into that. Be that. Be the Holy Grail. That's where everything is. All this stuff outside of you, including me, is a reflection of you. And so I am you telling you that you're the Holy Grail. Your answers are in the inner landscape, within your heart, within your soul, that is accessed through a little bit of quiet time, a little bit of meditation, a little bit of prayer, a little bit of the prayer, show me, and allowing God, Goddess, Creator, whatever word you use, to move through you. So Hillary, that's for you and for everybody, but I'll go back through and answer your questions too. I was being sassy. It's part of my timeline. I have a sassy timeline. How about you guys? So Linda, your message is higher heart activation. Drop the shields. Step into divine love. Your heart is healed. Aho. Anything that you're holding on to, you're holding on by choice. Now it's time to let go by choice. And it's saying your heart is healed. Drop the defenses. You don't need to protect yourself anymore in the way you've been protecting yourself. We now protect ourselves by understanding how all this works, by understanding the answer, the power, the authority is authenticity, and it's within. And we help each other by supporting each other in that knowing too, right? Dropping shields, divine love. Your heart is healed, Linda. That's really cool. This is really cool. And also notice Stargate. What do Stargates lead to, guys? Timelines. What? No way. That's what they are. That's why large amounts of energy need stargates to move through, because they create and or connect to very powerful timelines. And I want to say too, Linda, that you're getting ready to step into a new timeline that is going to be very powerful to you. You're already like in it, but you're kind of jumping back and forth a little bit. Yeah. Spirit song. Best and high is good. Ooh, Orion activation, supernova, recreation, renewal, and rebirth by light. Ow, girl. You got the Orion, that's Orion's belt. That is the alignments of the 3 pyramids as well. There's, as in everything, there are the light side and the dark side of everything. Make sure that when you're connecting to anything of the Orion, that you're calling for the true love and true light energies of Orion. But Spirit song, this word supernova is you. It's what's happening in your life right now. You've willingly, I just got the word willingly, stepped into a huge unfolding and awakening just recently. And it's part of the work we did together, but it's renewal, and it's bringing yourself into the fullness of who you are. And you came in with those gifts, just like you stated before, ADHD and autism. You came in with those gifts, and this is part of, these are not hindrances for you. They're not hindrances. They are your gifts. They are your superpowers. And I know that you're learning about that. And I feel like that this is speaking to that too. Supernova. Champagne supernova. You might want to go listen to that. Who is that? Is that Goo Goo Dolls? Trying to think of who that is. I love that song. Yeah, very cool. All right, Karen. Karen could really use an uplifting message. All right, sweetie. Dun da da. That is it, Spirit song. All right, Karen. Oh, this is cool. So I actually, Karen, I pulled up 2 for you. 2 wanted to come up. First one you have is the card that's a Halls of a Mentee. It's about secrets revealed, treasures uncovered, and initiations. Karen, I know that you've been struggling, but you've also been, it's like, I want to say, I recognize you've been struggling, but you've been walking through and like clearing it. And I get this image of you of like walking into something and it's like, oh, and it's blocking you. And then you're like, no, I'm moving through this, and you move through. But I feel like the past few years of your life have been a lot of it. And what you've been going through is really an initiation into this greater the part of yourself. And it's really cool because we've got this card of ancestral realm here. I want to say that you're healing your ancestral lineage. Whatever it is that you're going through, it is for you to acknowledge your ancestral lineage, but also begin to acknowledge your celestial, your spiritual lineage. The fact that you are part of the ionic, you're part of the indigo regal races, the sacred races that are the ones who helped to create this. You guys have heard of the Elohai. They are the creator races, and Karen, you're part of that. And you came into this lifetime to really learn about stopping cycles of negativity within family cycles, within lineages, within ancestry. And I feel like that you're like almost done. Like as soon as you realize, Karen, that that's what you're here, part of your job, it's not the whole thing, but what you're here for, but also that you're doing it and are almost done with it, you're going to start feeling like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm here to do. But also know it's getting ready. It's getting ready. Coming to the end, right? You're coming to the end of the cycle of being a cycle breaker. You break cycles, and it's lineage. It's ancestral. It's the past. It's initiation. It's halls of a mentee kind of stuff. And so, good job. You're doing it. You're doing what you came here to do. Now, give yourself permission to praise and honor and hold yourself as this sacred, powerful being who took on a hell of a journey and that you're doing it. Okay. So I hope that's uplifting. I hope that's uplifting. So, Moon. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I don't do those cards. I don't like those ones right now. Oh, Moon, very cool. You got inner earth. Oh my gosh. You got inner earth, base chakra, strength and security, laying foundations. So you got inner earth, and then you got star being healing codes, the celestial. So you got both of them. You got earth and you got celestial. You are a stargate in and of yourself, hon. And so honor this. See this? See this? Stargates. Okay, from the earth to the heavens and back again. Allow yourself to realize how uh, how you stand in that space. You can even see yourself, if you like trees at all. This is part of the reason I love trees. You have trees with roots deep into the ground and branches high above. I see you as that tree, and that you are that beautiful energy that takes the celestial into the terrestrial and the terrestrial back to the celestial. It's a very, very powerful place to be. And this is saying that wounds are healed. You are recharging right now, that you've been laying the foundations, and now you're recharging and you're getting ready for the next level, which is going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a lot more enjoyable. So give yourself permission to step into that. Give yourself permission to step into that. And you guys will notice, that a lot of all this stuff that we talk about is giving yourself permission, right? It's like give yourself permission to step into it. A lot of us don't. There is that saying that we don't, and it's Marianne Williamson, and forgive me, I can't quote it word for word, but it's not our darkness that we fear, it's our light. Because, stepping into our light is far more scary than playing in our darkness. It's not how she puts it. She puts it much more elegantly. But it's time for you, Moon. All these timelines that you're experiencing, and the hopping in, a jumping, skipping, and a jumping, hey, is calling your attention to you being on that timeline that is your timeline. It's really important. So Barbie is saying graphic design work for me has come to a bit of a halt. Am I being asked to step away from that work completely now? I want to tell you no. It's a break. It's not a forever. I'm getting that really strong, Barbie. But are you being guided to move into into what you really want to do? Yes. And I'm getting it's because you've been asking for that. Oh, wow. Your card that I pulled is the Central Sun. It is abundance, downloads, regeneration, and success. And it's the scarab. It's the sacred scarab, which is about to put it in a nutshell, there's a lot of information about the scarab, but the scarab is kind of like the angels where it brings the blessings from God back to humanity. This is a really powerful card, Barbie. Don't worry about the graphic design work, whether it's here or not. You have to make that decision right now. Put your energy into what you want to be doing and let the design work rest. Let it be what it is right now. You don't have to make a decision. You feel like you do, but you don't. And put your energy where you want to be doing it. Put it in your healing work. That's what you want to be doing anyways, right? So get your energy now that the graphic design work has slowed down. You have more energy and focus for doing what you want to do, and put some energy into that. Maybe do a website, or do something that you can kind of get it out there in different ways and stuff too. And I'm always happy to help you with that too. Yeah. So it's like, no. Yeah, it's like, no, you don't have to. Oh, Linda Tops, it was Oasis. Good job. Yeah, you don't make any decisions right now as to whether you step away completely now. Just kind of let it be. Let God take care of it. Put your focus into the stuff that you want, because you've been asking to be able to do that. And so you're being given an option. And it feels almost a little bit like universe is kind of saying, how serious are you that you want to do this healing, that you want to do that? How much do you want to do that? How much are you going to trust us to bring you what you need? Um, and it's another, like we're talking about today, it's letting go of the shore, and letting yourself begin to float down the river. And it's going to seem a little bit scary, but you're going to be carried right to where you need to be. And you've already put a lot of the work into it, Barbie. You've laid the foundations. You've done a lot of that stuff. But what it needs is your attention, your focus, your energy, and your excitement, your joy. It's like, oh yeah, let's do this. This is awesome. Let's go at it. Let's do this. Okay. So bring in some effervescence into what you really want to do. Let the other stuff lay down for a while. I don't feel like it's completely over. Um, but it's like you're being asked to, how much do you want this, what you've been asking for? So let me know how that goes. Let me know how that's going. So Spirit Song, Oasis. I know. There's several of those. I love that 90s music, man. It was so good. It was so good in the early 2000s. I was going through a divorce at the time, had 2 young kids, raising 2 kids, single mom, no child support, very little support of any whatsoever. My mom tried to be there, but, she didn't understand, kind of a thing. And it was like, holy cow, but all that music was so good, and it just carried me through. Matchbox 20, Creed, Oasis, Goo Goo Dolls, even Blues Travelers, remember them? And Hootie and the Goldfish. Oh, Hootie and the Blowfish, I just said Goldfish. Just, like, so many of that stuff, and even stuff like Stone Temple Pilots and, Weezer. Crazy music, it was so good. Yeah. Yeah, well, Karen, focus on the good parts of it. Focus on your sacred and holy space. Don't worry about what's gone past, what's not there, and just focus on the good, the positive in your life, and give yourself some credit for what you've come through. It's really, really important, because you're awesome. All you guys are awesome. Yeah, Barbie makes total sense. Been spinning a bit. Yeah, it's easy. And we're Hootie and the Goldfish. Hootie and the Goldfish. They're kind of like Hootie and the Blowfish, but there's more goldfish involved. Um, Yeah, Barbie, and the energy is really, really intense. Um, and so many people that I'm talking to are just like, what is going on? It's like, dudes, we better get kind of used to it because intensity is the name of the game this year. And, if, and I'm almost to the point where I'm saying people, if you're not doing prayer meditation and taking time like often every day, more than once a day, to get into your heart and soul, to get into your quiet place, to just take a breath and just move into that quiet place, you're going to have a hard ASS time this year. It doesn't mean necessarily that things are going to go wrong, but it's going to be hard. And you guys all have the tools. I know I've said it on this show at least 7,842 times about that prayer and that meditation and getting into the inner space. You have the tools. You have meditations on my YouTube here. I've got meditations available for you to purchase. I've got stuff everywhere. I've got my membership. I got stuff out there to help you guys. I've got a lot of it. Please use it. Please allow yourself to use what is out there and what I have so lovingly curated for you guys to help you. Because as much as I want to do it for you, I can't. I can't do it. Hootie and the Goldfish can. But it's so funny. It's almost like I want to I'm hearing that song, Hold My Hand. Hootie and the Blowfish. Oh my God. Yeah, good stuff. And also, do you listen to music? Here's another thing that is coming through right now that I've been getting a message. Music is really, really important right now too. And it doesn't have to be like meditation music. It can be music that you really, really love. You're welcome, Spirit Song. I love you too, sweetheart. It could be music that you love, like what we're talking about right now. There was at the late 90s and early 2000s, there was great music. Great, great, awesome music. Go listen to some of that. Matchbox 20, Creed, all the ones that I just said, go listen to some of that stuff. There's some rebellion, there's some claiming your authority, claiming your space. There's some love still left in the music, and if you like other music, go listen to 60s music, 50s music, 70s, 80s, 90s. What, made your hair blow back? Bob Seger, great music. I love him. A lot of different stuff. Some of the heavy metal or the hair, what they call them, hair bands, super good, super good. And I wasn't really into that music that much, but some of it, you go back and look at it and listen to it, it's really good. It's really good. So use some music to uplift you and keep you going too. It doesn't always have to be. It doesn't always have to be that meditation music, although that is really good too. They started changing the frequency of music, like kind of really in the 50s, 60s, 70s. They started changing some of the frequencies, and the music went from a little more easy on the frequency into a little bit more harsh. But as we started getting into the 90s, even in the 2000s, depending on what you listen to, we started getting into like a lot of the gangster rap and stuff like that, and things just really went sideways on stuff, and it got very harsh and very kind of traumatic to the energy field. So don't listen to that stuff unless it's good. I know there's a lot of rappers that have some really good music. So get some music playing. Get some music playing. Let your the savage beast within you be soothed by music or country music. I love country music too. Yeah, Spirit Song, you were so right. The hair bands sound mild now. I've got my cousin is in that Motley Crue, is the bass player for Motley Crue. And I used to not listen to the music. I mean, I went to concerts and stuff, but it wasn't music I listened to all the time. And it was like, oh my God, it's so loud and so bam. And I listen to it now. It's like, wow, this is really good. It's not quite so intense, but that's the era, right? We've been so bombarded with really harsh music that now Motley Crue is it's really, really enjoyable for somebody who listens to meditation music all the time, right? So I love you guys. I'm so grateful for all of you for being here, for being a part of this community. Make sure that you give a thumbs up on this, do a little subscribe, share it with your people, let people know we're here. Let people know we're here. We want to get the word out. We want to get as many people, being able to hear these messages and to really uplift everybody and to build this community. We're all going to need each other as we move forward. And you'll notice that we really draw loving, wonderful people. And I find that like some people come in and they're like blah, 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 and they don't fit and then they just go away. And all the good folks like all y'all stay. So I love you guys. Everybody have a great weekend. Timeline jump. Okay, I'm back on Tuesday. Have a great week. We got meditation tomorrow. We got some good classes coming up too. So check that out on my calendar on my website, micheleambergy.com. And love you guys. And the most important thing of everything is just stay sparkly, would ya? Sparkle on, my darling. Sparkle on.